Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. It is another day of this new month. Another day of this new month. What did I just say? It is the first day of October. We are coming into proper fall. It is actually chilly outside. That the worm has turned, as they say. And so, welcome this morning as we move our way into this uh, beloved season of October. If you're interested in getting our newsletter that has just been out on it has just emailed out. It's going to be mailed out, go out in the mail today. So, if you're at all interested, it's on our website, and you can also get a copy of it. Just message us in the inbox, and we can email you over a copy. But and there'll be links set, I think, on Facebook as well. So that's coming up. We've got a lot of stuff coming up in October, so it's going to be a fun month here at First Congregational Church. So I hope you'll avail yourself of a lot of the events that are coming up as a way of maybe staving off some of what's coming up. Hey, good morning, Vicky. I know I did the same. I left the window open today, and I quickly closed it up when I got in here. So it is chilly. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing great. We'll mug up this morning. Give it a few more seconds. A few more folks coming along. Good morning, everybody. Okay. Here we are. All right, let's get going this morning. It is the first day of October on this Wednesday at 11:11, and welcome to a new month. Welcome to another opening of a great season. And know that this day, as you hear my voice, whether you're hearing it live right now, or whether you're a part of, you'll catch it later, or whether you just stumbled across this somewhere on the wily world of the interwebs, welcome, and know that you are prayed for today. So today is the 50th anniversary of the greatest boxing match ever conducted. That's not just Andy saying that. That's many people will say that this is in fact the most the most storied match between Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali. Was fought in the Philippines, of all places, in Manila, and it got the great moniker of the Thrilla in Manila. That was how Ali started talking about it, and in the way that only he could talk about things. And it was the third meeting of these two that had been 1-1. Joe Frazier, Smoking Joe Frazier, and Muhammad Ali had fought two other times. They were 1-1, and this was supposed to decide who would be the greatest of all time. It took on a different quality than nearly any other fight, and that part of some people and the sports aficionados kind of all wonder why this is, but there's no question that it is true. It actually became a more bitter fight, a more personal fight, a more difficult fight than many other fights, if not any other fight that had ever been fought. And so and some people think it's because of all the trash talking that Ali had gotten really good at trash talking at this point, but it was also the tension of the age. In 1975, there was huge tensions between the Vietnam War. Ali, if you remember right, had refused the draft. And so many of the people that condemned him for that had thrown their support behind Smoking Joe Frazier, and so all of the tensions of the world were starting to play itself out in this little boxing arena, thousands of miles away in Manila, and then it started to get even more ugly. That Ali, he was nicknamed the Louisville Lip because of his ability to trash talk. That he would call Joe Frazier an Uncle Tom, as a result, and it was this that kind of put things over the edge in some ways. There's this legend that Frazier, as he was getting ready for the bout, would stare out into the South China Sea for hours, just getting his head right as he was going to war against this this one who just kept beseeching his honor and calling his kids ugly and all manner of things that and you know this was always billed as part of what it was to have Muhammad Ali and to fight Muhammad Ali. But the thing is then it got even crazier. The fight starts at 10 at night because it's broadcast around the world and one of the first really big sporting events to be broadcast around the world. So you have this weird thing and it's in Manila, before air conditioning and stuff. So some of the temperatures were reported in the ring to be 120 degrees. And that they couldn't keep enough liquid in the fighters, that they both as they get through the rounds, start suffering from dehydration. It lasts 14 rounds. And you can go watch it today. It's on YouTube. You can go see it. You can go watch. And you can see the exhaustion and the difficulty of that Ali in his typical kind of showboat fashion was trying to knock Frazier out early, but Frazier wouldn't go down. And both fighters fought in a way that commentators even to this day say that nobody had laid it down in the final round, the 14th round, because Joe Frazier would not go out for the 15th round, and not because he didn't want to, because his trainer Eddie Fuchs threw in the towel. What had happened was that Frazier's eyes had begun to swell shut, and he couldn't see anymore. He particularly couldn't see out of his right eye, or his left eye, and so he couldn't see Ali's right hand coming in. He was just taking more and more punishment from that side, and the trainer knew that he still had that he had no chance in the 15th round. And but there's still, even in the midst of that, there's all these storied moments that happen in the 6th round. Frazier catches Ali with what Ali calls, not Frazier, who's on the receiving end of it, what Ali calls is the best left hook he ever threw. And he catches Ali with this left hook, and Ali's head turns like a swivel. It just whips around. And Ali stumbles back, and this is during the fight. He looks at Frazier and he says, "They told me Frazier was washed up." And Frazier looks back and responds at him, "They lied." These two warriors battled this out into the 14th round. And this is what one sports commentator has to say. It was in a book about Frazier and Ali and Foreman, the great three that would fight in these days. He says this about this particular round, the end of this fight. The 14th round, and it would be the last one, the final 3 minutes in shared agony, was a kind of science experiment, an investigation into the extremes of human behavior. Just exactly what was a person capable of? How far could he go? How deep could he reach? Nobody had ever seen it conducted at this level. Precautionary measures usually in place that would abort any further research, saving the subjects somewhere just short of death. So to that extent, nobody really knew what desire and pride could accomplish, or rather destroy, and now they did. When Ali was later asked what the match was like, he said, "It was like death, the closest thing to dying that I know of," he said of that third Frazier fight. When Joe Fuchs said he was going to throw in the towel, and he was going to not let Joe go out for the 15th round, the last round of the fight. He wasn't going to let him go out, and he didn't let him go out. Frazier pleaded with him. He said, let me go back in. Let me go back in, Eddie. And Fuchs leaned in close and uttered and said these words: "Sit down, son. It's all over. No one will ever forget what you did here today." And they were right. 50 years later, it is still an incredible, one of the most incredible testaments of athleticism that we have. And in fact, in fact, both of the fighters would never be the same. They would never go on they would hold titles for a while, and they'd fight for a while, and they'd have a few more wins, but they would never fight the same way. That they would actually both leave pieces of themselves in that ring in Manila. The Thrilla in Manila would be far more than just thrilling. It would be destroying in some ways for both of the men that would fight in it. Now, I tell you all of this. To go to 1 Corinthians 9, where Paul is talking to the church in Corinth. And he's talking to the church in Corinth about, but he's kind of trying to get them to buy into commitment, to committing to the church, to committing to this way of walking and following Jesus. Not just to commit to the church so that they give a little more money or something like that, but that they actually change their lives and get in the fight of what it is to live and in lives of charity and compassion and love, and to take these things on in their lives, and to confront and to stand up for that which is beautiful and right and good and true, and to walk in the way that Christ had walked in the world, to invite them into that. And so he's pulling, Paul is pulling on all these metaphors, he's trying to he uses himself a bit as this example about what I've been doing. And he says, I've done it all. This is verse 23, chapter 9, 1 Corinthians. He says, I do it all for the sake of the gospel. Like, I've gotten into the ring, I'm in the fight, so that I might become a partner in it. And he goes on to say, do you not know that that in a race the runners all compete, but only one receives the prize? Run in such a way that you may win it. Athletes exercise self-control in all things. They do it to receive a perishable wreath, but we do it to receive an imperishable one. So I do not run aimlessly, nor do I box as though beating the air. But I punish my body and enslave it, so that after proclaiming to others, I myself should not be disqualified. That Paul uses this image of a boxer making blows, that landing punches against not people in the world, and not his own, not the opponents of the world, but on his own life, and the things that would come at him and would tempt him and would seek to destroy him, on his own desires that would lead him into all kinds of trouble and all kinds of brutality, that he leans into this, saying that I don't box in such a way that I'm beating the air. Now, sometimes it gets translated as shadow boxing, but that's not what it is, because shadow boxing is about training, but it's about like throwing punches or posturing, like, oh, I'm going to beat you up, but instead of actually like landing a punch, instead of actually being like those two great warriors in Ali and Frazier that 50 years ago left parts of themselves in the ring. And friends, for our spiritual walk and our spiritual lives, I think we can take this day. We can look at this day. We can look at this incredible match. We can look at this incredible match, and we can see actually that Ali and Frazier, by the time they were done, they were wedded together in history and in the story of the fight that they had with each other. And is about us, in many ways, a beautiful image about us and our own kind of temptations and our own struggles and our own ways. That when we start landing punches, when we start holding our lives together, when we start working to reform and to be other than we are, or to hold our lives to a little more account, to seek to walk in this heavenly way. When we do that and we start landing a few punches, we actually gain it. We actually gain it. We actually, Paul says use the word enslave, but it's really about it. It's not just that we subjugate and dominate over it, but it begins to work for us. It serves us, and our lives begin to serve us. And like the two great boxers, they become kind of wedded together. Our operational life, the things that we want, the things that we desire, the things that we have, and our actual true heart's desires, and what does come into our lives and our minds and our being. That in many ways this incredible fight and this incredible day kind of has something to offer us, I think, in kind of reminding us that that our lives really are less about posturing, less about the externals of the life in which we seem to live, and more about how are we walking out this thing with God? How are we walking out this thing in Jesus' way? And when we need to, how are we kind of knuckling up the things that need to be resisted and need to be fought against and need to be resisted, because we do it and that to do it as Paul, this beautiful line from Paul, as he says, I do it for the sake of the gospel, so that I might become a partner in it. That Jesus is a partner in this fight with you. That the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ that has come into this world to be as we are and to show us the way into glory, is in fact the partner in which we are following. It is in fact our own Eddie Fuchs, who we might hear one day those lines, those incredible lines that he says to Joe Frazier. He says, Joe, I'm going to stop it. That one day our lives will be, we will hear our Maker say, I'm going to stop it. And even though Frazier pleaded to go on, and we might with our own lives plead to go on one day, lean close to him, and we might one day hear our Creator lean close to us and say, sit down, son. Sit down, daughter. It's all over. And no one will ever forget what you did here today. Peace and grace to you, my friends, and we'll pick it up tomorrow with another 11:11.